infinity. This is news from 5D. Otis 5D.
News from 5D with Otis 5D.
All right, so I feel like the title is a little highfalutin, but I like it anyway.
Here's the thing about all this. I think some telepathy is real.
It is real.
For sure. It is real. I got to just say, because I almost made a video about this, Geiger Capital on Twitter had such a good comment, and he said, one of the things I love most about Joe Rogan is that all the journalists hate him and cry about him, and then he just dresses up like an elf and, you know, talks about shit with his buddies and gets like 50 times the viewership of them. It's so great. It's such a good timeline. This is the best timeline, okay? We have our issues here in this timeline, but it's good. This timeline is good, and let us enjoy it.
I think it is real. Have you listened to the telepathy tapes?
No.
I haven't heard about this.
I haven't
I'm
listened to it.
impressed.
It's a new podcast that's out.
Yeah.
And it's all about this scientific research that was done with nonverbal autistic kids and their parents. And they were able to go into another room, and they would bring up things to one, whether it was, I think they would bring things up to the mom, or the mom would say things. But the kid was accurate 95% of the time.
Wow.
It's so hard
with
to
numbers,
believe.
with colors.
Yeah.
Like like 3 numbers in a row.
Yeah.
Like, you know how
Very
crazy
hard
that
to
is, just to
believe.
guess 3 numbers in a row 95% of the time.
It's
Yeah.
very hard
Like,
to believe.
whatever
I don't
it is,
even
they
know
think
if I
it's
believe
real. I'm only
this.
on episode 2. So, but it's really fascinating, man, because it's a dismissed.
And I will say that,
here's
like,
the thing about all
shoot.
bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know how crazy.
Like, Rogan is very skeptical of these things. He started off, you know, being Mr. like DMT, UFO, fake moon landing bro, you know, 9/11 inside job. But he's become significantly more skeptical. So one of the good parts about that is that when he gives credence to things like this, I know that it's way more likely to be true than if someone like me talks about it, who is maybe a little bit less like skeptical.
That is just to guess 3 numbers in a row 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is, they think it's real. I'm only on episode 2. So, but it's really fascinating, man, because it's a dismissed thing.
Yes.
It's a woo-woo thing.
Sure.
But if it's
Yes.
real, shouldn't scientists study it like it's real? And it
Not
seems
to
like
mention-
through scientific study,
like anybody that's done DMT, like DMT was going to be called telepathine, and they found out that like something like the original name for DMT was going to be telepathine, because when they discovered it with the ayahuasca and everything going down to South America, you can search all of this. There's, you know, I'm at least 80% accurate on what I'm saying. And the most common reporting from the ayahuasca is that people would have group telepathy. And I can say for sure, I have had group telepathy on LSD. Like, big, freaking crazy, like, reality isn't real, group telepathy. It is, to this day, it's just, I was trying to rank it. I was going to say top 5 or top 20, or I don't even know, man. I remember those moments so clearly. Like I'm like astral projecting right now to those places that I was, and in Southern California, and they were like defining moments of my life. I mean, this is a long time ago now. But those things really solidified a perspective, because the group telepathy was so obvious and real and fucking mind-boggling, and the state, the energetic state was so high. It's so hard to put it into words. And the main thing was that when everyone involved came down from the trip, we compared notes, and everyone had the experience. And I think the thing that struck me the most is I felt, and I still feel, I was the most okay, this changes everything. My whole life has to change now. I can't just keep living how I was living after having at minimum 2 hardcore group telepathy experiences. And if you check the trajectory of my life changed very dramatically, like not that long after those experiences, because it was just, I couldn't keep living in any kind of normal way. It was too transformative for me. So anyway, to see Rogan
It's
talking
real.
about this
Yeah,
is
I think it's definitely, you've probably experienced
It's
it. I've
real.
experienced
I
it.
think it's an emerging part of human
and I've
consciousness
experienced
that we don't
I've experienced like one-to-one telepathy like a lot.
agree to, or we don't admit to. Like, we know
Yes.
there's something there, but we're not like, that's too silly. It's just,
Yeah.
there's so many people that fake it. That's the problem.
Right.
Right.
That is true.
Everybody
That is
like,
true.
wants to have some special thing that they have.
That
Have
is
a
true.
special thing.
That's
You have a
very
special
true.
thing.
So the best information that I've taken in about this, I've done a very, very significant amount of like research about this, which is why I'm surprised I don't know about this podcast. But I'm not like as into it as I once was. But anyway, the best information I've taken in from a variety of sources, but especially Bashar, is that the actual technical thing that's happening with telepathy is telepathy, where it's not exactly that you're reading someone's mind. It's that the hearts go into sync, that humans are naturally telepathically connected, meaning they can feel what each other is feeling. And I know for sure as an HSP, thousands of times in my life, I have been with someone and I've felt something, either an attraction or like something isn't being said. Like there's something under the surface. And I'm a very annoying person and I tend to pick at those things, especially if it's somebody I'm very close to, because I feel it so intensely and I hate it. It's so uncomfortable. And then I would say the vast majority of the time, it's definitely not 100%, but the vast majority of the time, it eventually is revealed that, like, yes, there is something that is like not being said, and I was feeling something. So I think that the future of humanity with all of this AI and the humanoid robots and like everything, the age of Aquarius that we're going into, the 5th dimension, is like telepathy is very central to it. And that doesn't have to be like DMT at all. I think that at a very base level, it's as simple as recognizing that, like, when you're with someone, especially somebody that you're fairly close to, it doesn't have to be a close to, but you know, it helps, I think. Like, you start to like feel what they're feeling. You can kind of pick up on things. And if you pick up on this, what is that? I can't remember that sample. You start to rely on it, right? It's like your gut. You start to rely on your gut. One of my favorite kind of quotes from this entire year was Tucker Carlson saying that he basically tells his kids, like, if you're around someone, this is like a different context for the same idea, and you get like a bad feeling, like, trust it. Like, your gut is designed to give you information that you may not be aware of, and like get away from that person that's making you feel uneasy. And like this same principle applies to really all of life. And I think that, you know, the future where we're going into, you know, it's really shocking to me how much consciousness stuff has normalized in society. You know, you got like Sam Altman talking about ayahuasca. Like, everybody is doing ayahuasca at this point. Like, this is like incredibly normal. I just, it's really hard for me to take in, because this was stuff I was into quite a long time ago, because I'm so ahead of the curve. And so I have this, I just have this feeling that this is like this really fringe thing because that's how it was when I was into it. But it's not now. Like it isn't at all. It's like a very, very mainstream thing. So I think as this stuff mainstreams, and that includes yoga and that includes health food and all the rest, I think that it's going to become increasingly normal to understand that there is like a telepathic, but really telepathic connection that binds us all, and things will slowly but gradually start to change. Like this will become normalized on TikTok. It probably already is more than I realize because I don't use TikTok. And what does that mean for the future of humanity? I don't know. I think it means that people don't need to necessarily communicate as much. You can just, and that says everything. So I really think that this is one of the most undervalued and underutilized skills. And I think that the way that I would encourage people to hone it is to feel things and try trusting your feelings and kind of going where your feelings lead, hopefully in a way that is like not that risky, and seeing what happens. And then gradually, slowly over time, my experience was like trusting that more and more and more, to the point where now I just kind of like, I get it. I get that like this is what's going on. And it doesn't necessarily fix anything, but it definitely like changes things a lot. And so when I feel things, especially with other people, I trust that those things are actually happening. And I don't know. It's. I think more than anything, it's like a different paradigm, and we're clearly exiting one paradigm of like the satanic Democrat media and moving into like something very different. And I don't know what it looks like, but it definitely, like, telepathy is a big part. It's a much bigger part of it than people realize. Whoa, what was that? Am I tripping? Did the screen just like flash and say something? Whoa, what the fuck was that? Dude, I love it. Whatever. Maybe I'm crazy, but I swear I just saw something. Telepathic. What I just telepathically communicated, did you catch it? Go fuck yourself. Peace.
Otis5D.xyz.
Go fuck yourself.